In the heart of ancient Athens, nestled between olive groves and marble temples, lived a man whose name has echoed through the corridors of time. His name was Socrates, the philosopher whose life was a testament to the power of questions. But here's the twist. Socrates, the man who changed the course of human thought, never wrote a single book. He didn't pen long treatises or leave behind scrolls filled with his wisdom. His teachings were like whispers on the wind, shared in conversations and debates that illuminated the minds of his students and the streets of Athens. 2,000 years later, his words resonate in classrooms, books, and in the quiet moments of introspection we all experience. But what if I told you that the essence of Socrates lies not in his words, but in the questions he asked? Questions that cut deeper than any blade. Questions that opened doors to wisdom, and questions that uncovered truths hidden beneath the surface. Today, we embark on a journey to explore the profound impact of these questions. We'll navigate through the labyrinth of Socrates' wisdom, unraveling the secrets of his thought process and understanding why his approach remains so relevant in our fast-paced, ever-changing world. Get ready to delve into the depths of your own thinking and discover how the power of questions can transform your perspective, your relationships, and ultimately, your life. Part 1. Why Socrates chose questions over answers. Socrates was born in Athens during a time when philosophers were amassing vast libraries of knowledge, recording every thought and theory. But Socrates took a different path. He didn't claim to have all the answers. Instead, he saw wisdom in knowing how little we truly comprehend. This might seem paradoxical, but it was this very paradox that made him a revolutionary. One of his most famous quotes encapsulates this idea beautifully. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. At first, this statement might appear disheartening. How can wisdom emerge from ignorance? But it is precisely in this apparent contradiction that Socrates' brilliance shines. He recognized that our minds are inherently limited, that our understanding of the vast universe and its complexities is but a tiny flicker in the grand tapestry of existence. This realization, rather than being a source of discouragement, was for Socrates the starting point of wisdom. It was the key that unlocked the door to continuous learning and self-discovery. When you acknowledge the boundaries of your knowledge, when you recognize that there is always more to learn, you open yourself up to a world of possibilities. Your mind becomes a fertile ground where new ideas can take root and grow. You cease to be a stagnant vessel of fixed opinions and become a dynamic learner, forever evolving and expanding your understanding. Socrates employed questions to gently nudge people toward this realization. He never presented himself as a sage with all the answers, but as a fellow traveler on the path of learning. He engaged people in dialogues, not to trap them into accepting his beliefs, but to help them examine their own thoughts and beliefs. This approach was revolutionary. It challenged the conventional wisdom of the time, when philosophers were often seen as repositories of absolute truth. Socrates, however, saw wisdom as a journey, not a destination. And he used questions as the compass and map to guide others on this journey. Let's take a moment to appreciate the implications of this approach. In our daily lives, how often do we present ourselves as if we have all the answers? How often do we shy away from admitting our own ignorance? And how often do we fail to listen to others because we think we already know their perspectives? Socrates' approach challenges these tendencies and calls for a more humble and open-minded way of engaging with the world. So let us embrace the Socratic paradox. Let us find wisdom in our own ignorance and use questions as the tools to uncover the depths of our understanding. In doing so, we honor the legacy of Socrates, the philosopher who taught us that the journey of learning is a lifelong adventure and that true wisdom lies in the constant quest for knowledge. Part 2. The power of self-examination. Socrates wasn't just about asking questions, he was also deeply concerned with the kind of life we choose to live. He didn't offer platitudes or easy solutions, but encouraged us to look inward and examine our own choices. One of his most stirring quotes drives this point home. An unexamined life is not worth living. It's important to note that Socrates wasn't advocating for endless introspection or a life consumed by overthinking. Rather, he was calling for a deliberate and conscious way of living. He urged us to take the time to reflect on our actions, our beliefs, and the kind of impact we want to have on the world. Think about the countless hours we spend planning projects, strategizing, and making decisions about our careers, relationships, and personal growth. Yet how often do we take the time to examine the underlying motivations, values, and beliefs that drive these choices? Self-examination encourages us to go beyond the surface level and dig deep into the core of our being. It challenges us to ask fundamental questions like, what do I truly value in life? What kind of person do I want to be? And what kind of legacy do I want to leave behind? By engaging in self-examination, we gain clarity, purpose, and direction in our lives. We learn to align our actions with our deepest values and aspirations. Moreover, self-examination is a powerful tool for personal growth and transformation. When we honestly confront our weaknesses, limitations, and areas for improvement, we open ourselves up to the possibility of change and evolution. It allows us to identify the patterns and behaviors that may be holding us back and work towards creating a better version of ourselves. Socrates' call for examining our lives is a reminder that we are the architects of our own destinies. It's as an invitation to take charge of our lives and consciously shape them according to our deepest desires and aspirations. So let us heed his wisdom and make self-examination an integral part of our daily lives. Let us ask ourselves probing questions about our choices, our beliefs, and our purpose. Only then can we truly begin to live a life that is meaningful, fulfilling, and in line with our highest potential. Part 3. Questions that transform our relationships. Socrates believed that the power of questions extended beyond self-examination. He saw it as a key to understanding and improving our relationships with others. He understood that our connections with other people are the threads that weave the fabric of our lives. And just as a skilled weaver uses different colored threads to create a beautiful tapestry, Socrates knew that different approaches were needed to connect with different people. He didn't employ the same tactics with a young student as he would with a seasoned philosopher. He adjusted his questions based on the person he was interacting with, demonstrating a remarkable sensitivity and adaptability in his communication style. This aspect of Socrates' wisdom is particularly relevant in today's world. We live in a time where many of our relationships are strained, where misunderstandings and conflicts seem to be on the rise. The polarization of our society and the echo chambers of social media have created a generation that often struggles to empathize with differing viewpoints or experiences. But here's the transformative power of Socrates' approach. By adopting his philosophy of asking questions to understand others, we can bridge divides, heal broken relationships, and foster genuine connections. Imagine a world where, instead of jumping to judgments or resorting to labels and stereotypes, we took the time to ask questions, to listen, and to try to see things from another person's perspective. It might start with simple acts like asking someone about their day, genuinely listening to their response, and then asking follow-up questions to show that you care. Or it could involve more challenging conversations where we ask questions to understand someone's beliefs, values, and experiences, even when they differ from our own. By doing so, we honor the Socratic ideal of seeking understanding over winning arguments. And who knows, in asking questions, we might just find that the answers lead us to a deeper appreciation for the complexity and beauty of human relationships. Part 4. Questions that lead to freedom. Socrates lived in a turbulent era. Athens was a hotbed of political turmoil, social unrest, and intellectual debate. The great empire of Athens was constantly at war, and the city's political system was rife with corruption and power struggles. Many people looked for quick fixes, easy answers to these complex problems, or they blindly followed the ideologies of the powerful few. But Socrates remained steadfast in his commitment to the power of questions. He believed that true freedom lay not in unquestioning obedience or blind adherence to authority, but in the courage to think for oneself. This is beautifully encapsulated in one of his most iconic quotes: "To find yourself, think for yourself." These words are a call to action, an invitation to embark on a journey of self-discovery through the power of independent thought. Socrates was well aware of the challenges that came with thinking for yourself. In a world where conformity was often rewarded and dissent was met with persecution, he stood as a beacon of intellectual courage. He knew that questioning the status quo, challenging conventional wisdom, and seeking truth independently often came at a price. Yet he never wavered in his belief that this price was worth paying. Thinking for ourselves requires us to break free from the shackles of societal pressures, peer influences, and the allure of popular opinion. It demands that we examine our beliefs, values, and biases, and that we be willing to change course when our thinking proves to be misguided or harmful. It's a continuous process of self-reflection and refinement, a journey that never truly ends. Socrates' life serves as a powerful testament to the importance of independent thought. He was eventually put on trial and sentenced to death for corrupting the youth of Athens and impiety against the city's gods. But he faced his persecution with unwavering courage, choosing death by poison hemlock rather than renouncing his philosophical ideals. So as you reflect on Socrates' legacy, ask yourself, are you willing to think for yourself? Are you prepared to face the challenges and potential consequences that come with questioning the status quo? Embrace the power of independent thought, not just for your own sake, but for the sake of your community and the world at large. In doing so, you carry forward the torch of Socrates, the philosopher who dared to think differently and who showed us the transformative power of independent thought. Part 5. Bringing Socratic wisdom into our lives. The life and teachings of Socrates serve as a guiding light for those seeking wisdom and enlightenment. His emphasis on the power of questions challenges us to approach life in a more thoughtful and introspective manner. Here are 5 practical ways to incorporate Socratic wisdom into our daily lives. 1. Ask yourself daily questions. Each evening, take some time to reflect on the day that has passed. Ask yourself questions like, what did I learn today? Did I live according to my values? What can I do better tomorrow? These questions promote self-reflection and personal growth. 2. Ask questions in conversations. Instead of engaging in heated debates or trying to win arguments, strive to understand different perspectives. Use questions like, why do you feel that way? Or what experiences shaped your view? To encourage deeper conversations. 3. Ask questions before making decisions. Before taking any significant action, pause and ask yourself, what are the consequences? What are my motivations? Will this choice bring me closer to the person I want to be? Careful consideration leads to better choices. 4. Encourage open-ended questions in discussions. When talking with others, especially children, pose questions that cannot be answered with a simple yes or no. This will foster critical thinking and deeper conversations. 5. Study and discuss Socrates' teachings regularly. Set aside time to read and reflect on Socrates' dialogues. Discuss his ideas with friends or join a study group to gain fresh insights. Socrates' wisdom is timeless, and his lessons continue to resonate in our modern world. By incorporating his teachings into our daily lives, we can become better thinkers, communicators, and individuals. As you continue your journey of self-discovery and personal growth, may the words and philosophies of Socrates serve as a guiding light, illuminating your path toward wisdom and enlightenment.